Chapter 2, Lesson 2, we focused on graphing and plotting points in the coordinate plane. We talked about where quadrant 1 was, where quadrant 2, 3, and 4 were at, and then we plotted several different points. So the first part of today's lesson is I want you to check your homework from last week where you had the worksheet Chapter 2, Lesson 2. So the first 8 problems, the points were given on the coordinate graph, and your job was to figure out what the ordered pair was and also which quadrant each of the points was in. So point F was in quadrant 3, and it was located at -2, -3. Number 2, point X was in quadrant 2, located in -6, 3. Point T is in quadrant 4, located at 8, -3. Point B is quadrant 4, ordered pair 5, -4. Point D is in quadrant 2, and the ordered pair is -4, 4. Number 6, point R is in quadrant 4, and the ordered pair is 1, -8. Number 7, point H is in quadrant 1, and the ordered pair is 3, 8. And number 8 is quadrant 3, ordered pair is -5, -6. The next section of your work was to plot points. They gave you the ordered pairs. You had to plot the points. So go ahead and pause this right now. Check your points for 9 through 14 on the answer key here and see how you did there. And then on 15, describe in words how you would get to point X, which is at 4, -8. So what you would do is you always start at the origin, and then because 4 is positive, you're going to move 4 to the right, and then 8 is negative, so you're going to move 8 down. And then make sure at the end you label that point, point X. Okay, hang on to this sheet because today's notes, we're going to focus on the back side of this sheet to help us guide us through our notes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at what is the distance between two different points. So when you look at this, the first one I want to look at is find the distance between point A and point B. So you'll notice that point A is here and then point B is here. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out how far are these 2 points away from each other. Now, you may count, that's completely fine, but what you need to make sure that you're paying attention to is that the scale is counting by 2s. So if you look at how far each of these are, you might say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So the distance between those 2 is 16 units. On this one, we're looking for the distance between point C and point D. So point C is here, point D is here, so we want to know how far those 2 are away. So again, you have scales that are counting by 2s. So we're 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 units away. Now, yes, you can always count, but what if the graph isn't given to you? You don't want to go and then plot the points and then come back and count. So another way that you can look at it is you can pay attention to what is the ordered pair. So in this one, we're going to find the distance between D and E. So how far are those away? Yes, we can count, but we don't want to. So what we're going to do is we know that the ordered pair is 6, 6. And we also know that the second pair, ordered pair, is 6, -4. Now what you're going to do is you're going to cross out the ones that are exactly the same. And you're going to ask yourself, see, one of these is positive and one of these is negative. So how far is this point from the axis? How far is that going to take you? That's going to take you 6 spots. So we have 6 away. And then the second one is how far is this one from the axis? So again, you're looking at the axis here. This one is 4 away. So because it would be 4 here and 6 here, we can add those 2 numbers together and say, okay, they're 10 units away. They're 10 units away from each other. Now, if we counted, we should also get 10. So let's count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now you're not always going to count by twos. You just have to pay attention to what the scale is. All right, now let's find the point B, the distance between point E and point F. So these are both in the same quadrant. Now we could count and we could say, all right, these are 2, 4 units away. So we know it's 4. But let's look at what the ordered pairs are. One ordered pair is 6, 6, and one ordered pair is 2, 6. So cross out the two that are the same. Both of the y values are the same. Now because both of these numbers are positive, we're going to find the distance between those two numbers. So how far is 6 from -2? So we're going to do 6 minus 2 gives me 4. Now we could have also done the same subtraction on this last problem where we knew that we had a 6 and we had a -4. So if we were trying to figure out how far those two are away, what we really would have done is we would have done 6 minus -4. Well, we know that when we have two addition signs here right next to each other, we know that that's going to be the same thing as saying 6 plus 4. So we know 6 plus 4 is 10. Another way to see that this one is 10 units away. Now the next example that I'm going to give you doesn't have the graph. So I want you to look at both of these ordered pairs. I think it's easiest when you list the two ordered pairs so that one is on top of the other. When you do it that way, you can see which two are common. So you can see both of those are 14. Now we need to find the distance between 28 and -12. I always start with a positive number if that's given. So I'm going to do 28 minus, because that tells me difference between the two, and then -12. Well, we know because we have two negatives here that that's really adding, which tells me that those 2 points are also in two different quadrants. So 28 plus 12 gives me 40. Those 2 points are 40 units away from each other. I want you to go ahead and try this next one on your own. So go ahead and pause it when you're finished, hit play, and see how you did. All right, so now that you have worked out the problem, I hope that you put both numbers so that they're listed one on top of the other. Those two are common, so we cross each other out. And then we're going to ask ourselves, what is the distance, the difference between 17 and -14? So we do 17 minus 14. These two are both negative, so really you're doing 17 plus 14. You get an answer of 31. Now you might say, well, what if both numbers are negative? We didn't do any of those examples. So let's take a look at what that would look like. What if I had the points, sorry about that. What if I had the points -7, -8, and I also had the points -7, -16? Well, what I would do here is, again, cross out what's common and then ask myself, what's the difference between those two numbers? So difference means subtraction. So always a subtraction problem. That's not ever going to change. And then write both numbers in there. So you have 16, -16 minus -8. Well, we know that we have two of those right next to each other. So that's really -16 plus 8. Well, -16 plus 8 gives me an answer of -8. How many times have you heard of a distance being negative? Probably never, because you wouldn't ever say, oh, I'm -4 miles away from your house, or I have -8 feet to go. No, so distance is always positive. So even if you get a negative answer here, you have to find what we call the absolute value. Absolute value says just make that problem positive. So -8 really is 8. So the distance is 8. So all of your distances need to have a positive answer. So if it comes out negative, just take that answer and make it positive. So the next thing that I want you to do is take a look at this example. This is the last example on your sheet. It says Monica and Derek started riding their bikes from the same point. if Monica rode 6 miles east, 2 miles south, and Derek rode 1 mile north, 4 miles west, and then 3 miles south, we need to answer, show Monica and Derek's path on a coordinate grid. So whenever we graph, we always graph on starting at the origin. So let's show Monica in blue. So it says Monica rode 6 miles east. Well, remember your north, your south, and then your east and your west. So remember that. So we start at the origin. She rode 6 miles east. So we'll go 2, 4, 6, 6 miles east. And then from there, she went 2 miles south. So Monica is right there. Okay, now let's take a look at Derek, and let's put Derek's path in red. So again, he starts at the origin. He rode 1 mile north, 4 miles west, and then 3 miles south. So Derek ended right here. Now, what are the ordered pairs of those two? So our goal is to figure out how far apart they are. We don't want to use the counting method. So let's look at both of their ordered pairs. So Derek's ordered pair would be, Monica's ordered pair would be 6, -2. And then Derek's ordered pair would be -4, -2. So now we have two ordered pairs. Let's write both of those. -4, -2, and let's write Monica's, which is 6, -2. So use the same method as before. Cross out what's similar. Now what's the distance or the difference between those two? So 6 minus -4. We have two subtractions, so that's really plus. They're 10 units away from each other. And we could go ahead and count as well. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can see that we have a valid answer. All right, now it's your turn to go ahead and start working on your homework and prove that you know how to do this. So we're finding the distance between 2 points. Some of your homework also will be review of what we just checked on homework of plotting points and writing ordered pairs. You will need a coordinate grid for problems 7 through 14. I have that for you, so please make sure that you get that from me, and then the rest of it can be done on a piece of notebook paper. But you can plot all of the problems 7 through 14 on that same coordinate grid. So please come see me for that, and we'll get started with our homework. Thank you very much.